Hey everybody, this is Chris with Night of Living Card Games. Today I am starting up my Random Hero Random Aspect run through the Mad Titan Shadow campaign. If you didn't see my Rise of Red Skull campaign, what I'm doing is I'm taking one campaign and I'm progressing through it solo, but for each scenario of the campaign, I am choosing a different hero and I am doing a different aspect randomly chosen for each hero. So for the first scenario of Mad Titan Shadow, I am going to be bringing Groot in, and randomly chosen was a leadership deck for him. So since Mad Titan Shadow deals with Thanos and a lot of that, I decided to take the Guardians through this. So my Guardian choices that I'm going with are Adam Warlock, Gamora, Groot, Nebula, and Rocket Raccoon. So I've already randomized what aspects each one's get. Adam Warlock doesn't have a choice. You have to take things from all the different aspects. Gamora has got Justice aspect. Groot is leadership. Nebula is protection. And Rocket is aggression. I randomly selected which hero starts out this campaign, and it is Groot. So Groot will be going up against Ebony to start the campaign up. So the theme of the campaign is also the Infinity Stones. After Rise of Red Skull, and also Galaxy's Most Wanted, we dealt with the reality and the Power Stones there, while Thanos is looking for the other ones. So in this first scenario, they find out that the Reality Stone is hidden, but the Power Stone is out on nowhere. So he sends his henchman Ebony to go pick it up from nowhere. So taking a look at Ebony we're playing on standard again. So Ebony in his first phase is a 2-scheme, 1-attack, 14 hit point villain with a Black Order and Mystic trait. He has a forced response. When Ebony activates against you, remove an invocation counter from each spell card in your play area. So for this game, Ebony is effectively kind of like a sorcerer. He casts spells on us, and they count down, and when they go off, bad things happen. So his first scheme, 1A, Attack on Nowhere, tells us the setup. So we're using Ebony and the Armies of Titan and Black Order sets. And when we flip over to 1B, we see that it starts out with 1 threat per player. It goes up 1 threat per player per round, and it has a threat threshold of 6, and it has a win revealed effect. Each player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until a spell environment is discarded and puts it into their play area, and then shuffle the encounter discard pile into the deck. So basically, we draw until we get a spell, and then we shuffle everything back up. So let's see what we get. No spells yet. Here we go. Pacification. So pacification is an environment, and all of these spells surge if you draw them as encounter cards. It enters play with 3 invocation counters on it, and then a forced response. After the last invocation counter is removed from pacification, discard it and exhaust each upgrade you control, and you are stunned. So let me get 3 counters out here for it. And like always, I am using all my wonderful buy the same token gear for this. I just picked up the Guardians of the Galaxy player board, so I'm looking forward to giving that a try out. All right, shuffling back up the encounter deck. And then because we're playing in campaign mode, we also have an additional side scheme out called Secure the Landing Pad. So Secure the Landing Pad says, Cosmo and the Nowhere Corps do their best to prevent more Black Order forces from landing on the station, but they need help. It is a 2-threat scheme with hinder 1 per player, so it comes in with 3 since I'm doing this solo. And then when defeated, I flip this card. Get my when defeated out here so I remember. So taking a look at Groot. So Groot in alter ego form is a 10 hit point 4 recovery outlaw. And he has an action called Growth Spurt. Place 2 growth counters on Groot to a maximum of 10, limit once per round. The hero site is also Groot. He is a 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense guardian hero. With the forced interrupt, when Groot would take any amount of damage, remove that many growth counters from him. For each growth counter removed this way, prevent 1 of that damage. So he's going to build up these growth counters and they will protect him from damage, but he has a lot of events in his deck that trigger off the number of growth counters, or you can spend growth counters for other effects. So that is it. So we're going to start ourselves up here. I'm going to give my deck a quick shuffle, and then let's see what we got. In Alter Ego size, Groot does have a hand size of 6, and in Hero, he has a hand size of 5. All right, let's see what we start out with. We start with Rocket Raccoon, Black Panther, Black Knight, Nick Fury, Nowhere, and Fruition. Well, that is a lot of allies. I know it's a leadership deck, but that's most of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep Fruition, which is a 0-cost event, and as an action, I can place 2 growth counters on Groot to a maximum of 10. And I'm going to keep Nick Fury, and I'm going to pitch the rest. So drawing 4 more, so we also get I Am Groot, Entangling Vines, Genius, and Strength. Right, well, let's see how this goes. So first things first, I'm going to spend a Strength and a Genius for Nick Fury. And I'm going to use Nick Fury to draw 3 cards, and those 3 cards are going to be Root Stomp, Gamora, and Fertile Ground. It is great to see Fertile Ground in the opening hand. So I'm going to do Groot's action to put 2 growth counters on him. Then I'm going to do Fruition, 0-cost event. Since it's just an action, you can do it in Hero or Alter Ego mode. Place 2 growth counters on Groot to a maximum of 10. So now I'm up to 4. And now I am going to spend I Am Groot to get down Fertile Ground. So Fertile Ground is a 1-cost support. It says Alter Ego action, exhaust Fertile Ground and place 1 growth counter on Groot, again to a maximum of 10, and draw 1 card. That's the wrong token. So we're going to exhaust. We're going to get another one on to get him up to 5. And we get to draw a card, and it is Vine Shield. All right, I think since I've got Nick Fury out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a setup. I'm going to spend Gamora to get down my Vine Shield. Vine Shield is a 1-cost upgrade. It is a hero interrupt. When Groot defends against an attack, remove 1 growth counter from him and exhaust Vine Shield, and he gets +3 to that attack, +3 defense against that attack. And then I'm going to spend Root Stomp to play Entangling Vines. And it is also a 1-cost upgrade. And Hero Interrupt, when Groot makes a basic thwart, remove 1 growth counter from him and exhaust Entangling Vines. Groot gets +2 thwart for that thwart. So now I'm going to flip up. I am actually going to thwart, and I am going to use Entangling Vines. I'm going to remove a growth counter to go back down to 4. To remove 3 threat off of this. And when defeated, I get to flip this over. And on the back side of this is an ally, Cosmo. Cosmo is a 0-cost ally with 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 hit points, and the Guardian traits. The first player gains control of Cosmo. So if this was a multiplayer game, as the first player token passed along, so would Cosmo. Cosmo does not count against the ally limit. And forced interrupt, when Cosmo leaves play, remove him from the game. All right. So now I think Cosmo and Nick Fury are going to go and punch out Ebony Maw for 4 damage. And I think that is it. So I'm going to ready myself up here. Draw up to my hand size of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See what I get here. I get Welcome Aboard, Root Stomp, Helicarrier, Regroup, and I Am Groot. Most of his events are named I Am Groot, or some form of it. Alright, so villain phase. We get 1 threat on the main. Ebony Maw comes to attack. Nick Fury will jump in front of it. He's attacking for 1 and a star. Boost effect, discard 1 card at random from your hand. Alright. Alright, we lose Helicarrier. Right, and because he activated against me, I have to take 1 counter off of pacification. And now our encounter card is Landing Craft. So Landing Craft is a 2 threat per player side scheme with an acceleration icon. And it says, when defeated, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Put that minion in play, engage with the player who defeated the scheme. So that comes in with 2 on it. Acceleration token, and it has a win defeater effect. And Nick Fury didn't die from that attack by Ebony Maw, but it's the end of the round, so he goes away. Alright, so I think what we're going to do here is we are going to have Cosmo thwart 2 off of this. So we are now going to discard until we get a minion. So we get a Black Order Infantry, which is a 1 scheme, 2 attack, 4 hit point minion with the guard trait, and it has a when defeated effect. When defeated, give the villain a tough status card. Alright, so I'm going to spend Regroup and Welcome Aboard to play Root Stomp. Root Stomp is a 2-cost event. It says hero action, attack, deal 5 damage to an enemy, and if this attack defeats an enemy, place 1 growth counter on Groot to a maximum of 10. So that is going to take the infantry out, which gives me a growth counter. And then Ebony Maw gets a tough status card. I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to thwart using Entangling Vines to take 2 off the main, and then I'm going to flip down. And then I'm going to use Groot's action to put 2 counters on here. So that gets me up to 6. And then I'm going to use Fertile Ground to get up to 7 and draw a card. And that is Kalu. And I think that will be my turn. Let's ready ourselves up here. I'm going to get rid of Kalu. I am going to keep I Am Groot, though, because I should be able to get up to 10 growth counters this turn, so I can do a lot of damage. Okay, so let's draw back up. So I've got I Am Groot. I Am Groot again. Command team, we are Groot. Make the call, and welcome aboard. Alright, so we get 1 threat on the main. Ebony Maw is scheming for 2. 3, 4, 5. Ouch. So this pops. Not a fan of that. So we've now got Scheme 2A, the Power Stone. When revealed, shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck and discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a spell environment is discarded and put that into play. Certainly was not looking for that 3 boost card there. All right, let's discard until we get a spell. get Fireball. So Fireball also is an environment, enters play with 4 invocation counters on it, and then after the last of the counters are on it, are discarded, deal 4 damage to your identity. So side 2B of the Power Stone, Ebony Maw uses his powerful magic to occupy you while his agents search for the Power Stone. It is a 9-threat threshold main scheme, starts with 1, goes up 1 per round, and if that hits 9, we lose the game. So, oh, actually, the Force Interrupt technically happened before he activated, so Pacification goes down 1, but Fireball does not. Got to get the order right. Okay, so that was his activation, and now our encounter card is the Black Order Side Scheme. This is a 2-threat per player side scheme with the hazard icon, and it says, while a Black Order minion is in play, threat cannot be removed from this side scheme. Alright, I don't need extra encounter cards, so I'm going to want to get rid of that soon. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to use Groot's ability to put 2 growth counters on. I'm going to Fertile Ground to get myself up to 10, and then draw a card. And so we get I Am Groot scheme. So we've got I Am Groot, I Am Groot, I Am Groot, and We Are Groot. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let us flip back up. So I think what I'm going to do here, oh man. Yeah, let me see here. I'm thinking about making call to bring an ally in. Let me see what I've got here. I've got Kalu, Nick Fury, Gamora, Black Knight. Okay. All right, I think I might have a plan. Let's see if I have the resources for it. So if I make the call, 3, yep, I would be able to do this. Be able to do that, but then I wouldn't have, the Black Order would stay out if I did that. That is a tough, tough choice. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do then instead is we are going to make the call. We're going to use Welcome Aboard, We Are Groot, Command Team. Actually, I don't need to do that, do I? No. I just realized what I can do here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing to take Tough off. I'm going to spend Command Team and Welcome Aboard to play I Am Groot. So it is a 2-cost event, and it is a hero action attack. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. I've got 10. I do 10 damage to Ebony Maw, which takes him into Phase 2. So Phase 2 of Ebony Maw is a 2-scheme, 2-attack, 18 hit point villain with the same Forced Interrupt, and then a when revealed effect. Players discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until they discard a spell and put it into play. So let us get his hit points out here first. And now we are going to discard until we get a spell. Here we go, manipulation. So then just play with 2 counters on it. And after the last counter is removed from it, discard a random card from your hand and you're confused. So I'm about to be stunned, and then the round after that I'll be confused, and then 2 rounds after that I will take 4 damage. Okay, so I am now going to use I Am Groot to play We Are Groot. So We Are Groot is a 1-cost event. It says hero action, remove up to 4 growth counters from Groot, choose that many friendly characters, give each of those characters a tough status card. So I am going to take 2 off it to get myself down to 8, and then I get a tough status, and Cosmo gets a tough status. And Cosmo will then exhaust, burning the tough status to get rid of the Black Order. All right, and I think that's all I can do. I'm going to discard Make the Call, but I'm going to hold on to I Am Groot. See if we can do a big chunk of damage to him again next turn. So, all right, so we've got I Am Groot, Professor X, Make the Call, Lashing Vines, and Regroup. That might change what I'm doing. Okay. So villain phase, we put 2 threat on the main. He comes to attack us, but as a force to interrupt, we are going to take 1 off of manipulation, 1 off of fireball, and 1 off of pacification, which now triggers. So after we remove the last 1, exhaust each upgrade you control, which I do have 2, and I am stunned. All right, so now he is attacking for 2, 3, 4. That just goes to my tough card. And now I get a Rubble Storm. This is another spell. It surges. We'll deal with that in a second. Enters play with 3 counters on it. And after the last counter is removed here, deal 2 damage to each character you control. Ouch. Well, Cosmo might be going away. All right, but that does surge into Outrider. And when revealed, discard 1 card at random from your hand. All right, let's see what I can get in here. All right, I am discarding Regroup. All right. So I am stunned. And I've got a villain in front of me. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to attack to clear stunned. I'm going to spend 3 to get Professor X down. So with Professor X, I am going to choose to confuse the villain. And then I will take 2 off the main, and then I think I'm going to flip down and let's do Fertile Ground. Let's gain a growth counter, draw a card, which is Vine Spikes, which is his upgrade for getting plus attacks, so that's good. And I think that's where we're going to end it. So we'll ready up. I'm going to keep Vine Spikes in my hand and draw back up to my hand size. Make the Call, Energy, Flora and Fauna, Fruition, and the Triskelion. All right, let's see what happens here. So we get 1 threat on the main. He would go to activate, but he is confused, which means counters don't come off of that. Outrider does scheme for 1. And now our encounter card is Agent of Thanos. When revealed alter ego, place 1 threat on the main scheme for each spell environment in your play area. So 1, 2, 3. So we are now up to 5 of 9. Right, end of the round, Professor X goes away. Okay, my turn. I'm going to use Fertile Ground to get myself back up to 10. Draw a card. I get Major Victory. All right. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the call using energy. The Triskelion and Flora and Fauna. Let us bring back our friend Nick Fury. Put Nick Fury into play, and then I will draw 3 cards. I get Beast, Root Stomp, and Maria Hill. Okay. Alright, I'm going to spend Major Victory to get my Vine Spikes down. So Vine Spikes is the 1-cost upgrade, and when I make a basic attack, I can remove 1 growth counter to give him a +2 attack for that attack. Alright, I'm going to flip up to my hero side. Alright, I think we just need to ignore this and try to go all in on Ebony Maw before Rubble Storm comes out. So Nick Fury is going to attack for 2. I'm going to swing with Groot. I am going to use Vine Spikes to get a +2. So I'm hitting for 4. I'm going to spend Maria Hill and Beast to play Root Stomp. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. If it were to defeat the enemy, get a growth counter, but it doesn't, so that takes me down to 7. And then I'm going to use Fruition to get myself back up to 10. Alright, that's all I'm going to do here. So let's ready ourselves up. Let's draw up. I deck out, so I'm getting an encounter card. I want to try to get through Ebony Maw before Rubble Storm goes off, because if you keep Cosmo, he can come back in later games, I believe. So I'm trying not to lose him. Alright, so let's see here. So I've got Def Focus, Regroup, Major Victory, Command Team, and We Are Groot. I was really hoping for that, that big damage one to put it away. Alright. So we're getting 1 on the main. So we are at 6 of 9. He is coming to attack, and Nick Fury will defend. But first, we take 1 off a Rubble Storm, 1 off a Firestorm, and then Manipulation triggers. So after the last counter is moved here, discard 1 card at random from your hand, and you are confused. So I'm confused. I can't shuffle. All right, we are losing. Regroup. All right, so now he is attacking for 2 plus a boost card, which is 3. So Nick Fury does not survive that. Then the Outrider comes and attacks for 1. I'm just going to take it, and it takes 1 off my growth counter. I don't take any damage. Now we get 2 encounter cards. First is Rubble Storm again. This comes in with 3. And it surges, so let's see what it surges into. A Black Order Infantry. Oof, we got a guard minion. Like that. And when defeated, the villain gets a tough status card. So That's going to make getting through this a little harder. And then we get an advance. I think we just lost here, folks. 2 plus 2 is 10, and yes, sirree, we have lost. All right, well, let's reset this, and let's see if we have a better luck next time. All right, we're back. I got everything reset up again. Discarded to get the first spell out, and it is Fireball. So again, when it's done, deal 4 damage to your identity, hero, or alter ego. So let's start and see how this one goes. So I'm drawing Professor X, Nowhere, Genius, Root Stomp, I Am Groot, and another Root Stomp. All right. Don't need Nowhere. Don't need one Root Stomp, and I Am Groot. Going to then do Make the Call, Black Panther, and Kalu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. All right. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to start. We'll do Groot's action to get 2 counters on me. I'm going to spend Genius and Black Panther to get out Professor X, who will confuse the villain. And then he is going to thwart this one away. So Cosmo comes back. Yeah, we're just gonna come up, and we are going to Make the Call and Kalu for a Root Stomp to deal 5 damage. And then we're gonna punch for 2 and punch for 2. Let's get him down to 4. All right, and then we'll ready ourselves up. Draw back up. Let's see what I got. Gamora, I Am Groot, Vine Shield, Rocket Raccoon, and Welcome Aboard. All right, so villain phase, we get 1 on the main. He comes to attack, takes 1 off a fireball. Professor X is defending this, so 1, 2, 3. That is enough for Professor X to go away. And then our encounter card is an Outrider. When revealed, discard 1 card at random from your hand. All right, we are losing. Welcome aboard. I was looking forward to using that too. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here, we're going to spend 3 to get Gamora out. Gamora is a 3-cost ally with 1 thwart to attack, 3 hit points. You can only play it if you have the Guardian trait. And then after Gamora attacks or thwarts, discard card from the top of your deck until you discard an event and then add it to your hand. So I think she is going to attack and kill this Outrider. So now we gotta get, well, I got an event. I am going to punch for 2. And you know what? We're going to have Cosmo punch for 2 as well. And then I'm going to flip down and use my action to get another couple growth counters. And then we're going to ready up. I'm going to Make the Call in my hand because I got some good allies in the discard pile. Make the Call, Entangling Vines, Regroup, Fertile Ground, We Are Groot, and I Am Groot. Alright, so villain phase, we get 1 on the main. He would scheme, but he is confused. So we don't take 1 off of a fireball, and so now we get our encounter card, which is Wilt. So This is my obligation card. Give it to the group player. You may flip to alter ego. I already am. Exhaust your alter ego and remove Wilt from the game, or remove 3 growth counters from Groot and to discard this card. So I am just going to exhaust myself to remove it from the game. Okay, so I am going to spend Regroup to put down Fertile Ground, which I will use to get a growth counter and draw a card, which is Vine Spikes. I'm going to use Groot's action to get 2 more on me. Let's see. You know, we're going to have Gamora punch him into the next phase. So he's going to come in with 18. And we're going to discard until we get a spell. Oh, 1 advance gone. That's nice. Here we go. Manipulation. So that one is going to be a discard random card, and you'll be confused. It has 2 counters on it. Now I'm going to discard until I get an event from Gamora. So I get Fruition. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is we are going to spend 3 and make the call. We're going to bring Professor X back. And he is going to confuse Ebony Maw again. And then he is going to take the threat off the main scheme. I'm going to flip myself back up, and I'm going to use Fruition to get down my Vine Spikes. Vine Spikes is the remove a growth counter, get +2 for an attack. And that is all I'm going to do this turn. So, ready myself up. Draw back up to 5. I am Groot, my big damage counter. Welcome aboard. Helicarrier, Maria Hill, and Regroup. Alright, so villain turn. We're going to get 1 on the main, and then we're going to remove 1 counter off both spells, and then he is going to attack. Professor X is going to defend, so he's attacking for 2, 3, 4. Thank you for your service once again, Professor. And our encounter card is Blood to Spare. When revealed, each minion engaged with a player activates against that player. Each player who is not engaged with a minion searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Black Order minion and puts them into play engaged with them. Alright, so what do we got here? Yep, I am going to put the Outrider into play. Again, I am putting him into play, not revealing him, so I don't have to discard 1 card at random from my hand. All right. Let's see. Oh, I did not ready up those. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to play Welcome Aboard. So Welcome Aboard is a 0-cost event. Play only if your identity has a Guardian trait, max 1 per round. Hero action, reduce the resource cost of the next ally you play this phase by 2. So I am bringing in Maria Hill, who will draw me a card. Okay, I am... We are going to attack with Gamora. We are going to let her die, but after she attacks, I still get to trigger her response because damage is the last step of that. So I'm still looking for an event. Nick Fury, energy, event. All right, I am going to actually play Fruition to place 2 growth counters on Groot. And now I am going to spend Strength to play I Am Groot. So I Am Groot is my big attack. It is a 2-cost attack event. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. I have 9. So we are taking out, there's 5, and another 4 is 9. So we're down to 7. I'm now going to attack with Vine Spikes using 1 growth counter to attack for 4. So that takes us from 7 down to 3. I'm going to flip down. I'm going to Fertile Ground myself to draw a card, which is Deaf Focus. And then I'm going to use Groot's ability. Actually, no, there's no point. I'll just Fertile Ground next round. And then I'm going to spend Regroup to put down a Deaf Focus. And I'm going to leave it at that. All right, we're going to ready myself up and draw back up to my hand size. What do we got here? One. I get enough. I'm not going to keep Helicarrier, so I get Black Knight, Triskelion, Command Team, Lashing Vines, Make the Call, and Beast. All right, so Villain Phase. We get 1 on the main. He would scheme, but he is confused, so Manipulation and Fireball don't lose a counter. Outrider does scheme for 1, and now we get 1 encounter card, which is Agent of Thanos. When revealed, Alter Ego, place 1 threat on the main scheme for each spell environment in your play area. If no threat was placed that way, it gains Surge. Well, I've got 2, so that takes me up to 5 of 6. And this is my turn. All right, let's Fertile Ground to get up to 10. Draw a card. Flora and Fauna. All right, so we are just going to flip on up. And we are just going to use Lashing Vines to attack for 4, and Ebony Maw is defeated. All right, that time worked a lot better than the first. So, taking a look, victory. If Secure the Landing Pad side scheme was defeated, add Cosmo to the campaign pool. And if attack on Nowhere 1B was completed, add Security Breach to the campaign pool. So, I'm still on 1B, so I don't have to add Security Breach to the campaign pool, but Cosmo is added to the campaign pool. So next up will be the Tower Defense scheme with going up against Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight. And we'll see what random hero is chosen for that one. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment below if you want. Otherwise, I look to have the next game up soon. Thanks, everybody, for watching.